and it's template time or sketch time, whatever you prefer to call it. It's been quite a while since I've shown one of my sketches. Um, and today's is a little unique. I hope you like it. Um, you've probably seen cards that I've made if you follow my blog at all, because I've used it for a while, but I've just never done a video with it. So we're going to do that today. So let me flip my camera down and we will get started. So the sketch is basically, and it's kind of hard to see because I have a lot of it covered up, but this is the card that will be posted on my fearlessstampandflair.com blog tomorrow. And I thought it'd be easier if I just kind of showed you from a template wise and some scraps wise how this sketch is. Basically, this is your card front. It's the standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 A2 card. And the only two pieces that are part of the sketch are these two triangles. And that's what I'm going to show you how to make, is how to make these triangles. Sometimes cutting triangles can be a little bit intimidating, I guess, but these are really easy. So this is not one of my more versatile sketches. I will be totally honest with you. It was designed to go like this with the two triangles coming down. Obviously, you can put it in any direction just by laying it on the card differently. If you have designer paper that's directional, be sure you figure out which orientation you want it first, if you want it in landscape or portrait. If your cardstock is non-directional, that'll give you even more, let's say, variations that you could do with this sketch. If I take this other side, you can see these are both just a very kind of a linen-y looking design. And so in this case, we could actually move things around a little bit more. I could flip this over and put it here. When you make this piece, you do end up with two triangles that are the same because you cut a piece of cardstock like this as a diagonal. And we'll talk about that as I show you how to cut it. But if you take each of these, then you could have a little more variation of how you play with it. You can easily flip it around with this way and this way. You're kind of stuck with this. So play with the pieces. I would recommend that you kind of cut the two triangles, keep your spare piece for your template. We'll call it a scrap template, and then you can play around with it a bit more, but it's not nearly as versatile, I'll be honest, as some sketches. So the card I'm going to make today, we're not going to make this card. This card was made with the lovely and beautiful suite of products that is on the last chance list. However, I believe the paper is not, and this designer series paper is gorgeous. But I think the dies and the stamps are on the last chance list. But the last time I checked, the designer series paper was not. But I'm going to give you a sneak peek of a new suite that's coming on May 5th. It is an online exclusive, and I think you're going to love it. I love it. It is so stinking cute. It's basically Winnie the Pooh and his friend. It is called Silly Old Bear, and it's a mega suite, so it comes with two different stamp sets, and this is the one stamp set's called Sweet Oh Friends, and you can see it's got, here's our little Pooh, here's Piglet with his friend, you know, it's basically Winnie the Pooh and all of his friends. Here's Tigger. I don't even know what some of these other people's friends' names are, but it comes with the stamps or dies, coordinating dies that cut out all of these images plus a few more. So there's dies that cut out each of the little critters, we'll call them. There's a die that cuts out this, and then there are some extra dies that cut out like a tree stump, some leaves. This looks like a beehive, kind of a hive. Just some little posts. You could make a little sign or something, or you could create a fence. There's a couple different sizes of those. I haven't played with it a lot yet, but it's really, really, really cute. I think you're going to love it. And the most fun thing about it is, let me just show you, I'm going to show you all the designer series paper that comes in the suite, but this piece here has all of these same little guys on it. So it's got the owl, here's the bear, we've got the little donkey, I guess, or horse, whatever it is, I'm not sure. This is a pouch on here, so it must be a kangaroo, right? And the kangaroo is on here. I've got a little right here, and here's Piglet and his friend, and that is right here. The little bunny is here. Here's Pooh with his, I don't know what that is he's holding. Looks like a tablet of some sort. But he's on here right here. I think it's a honey pot. I think it's actually one of these. When you see it in color, it looks a little bit more like what it is, but so cute. And on this paper, the dies will cut out all these little guys. So I wanted to show you that. The other bundle that comes in this suite is awesome. Here's the stamp set, and it's got some really, really cute sayings that go with the little Pooh and his friends. The best kinds of days are days spent together. Oh, bother. I will love you forever, until forever, and even after that. You deserve a little treat. Sometimes when you go looking for happiness, happiness finds you. That just kind of reminds you of one of those little Pooh and Piglet cartoons that pop up in your feed once in a while on Facebook, right? Never hurts to keep looking up, and old friends are the best friends. And then there's these two stamps for labels. And the suite includes all of these label dies, basically two different. I'm going to actually open these and show you these. I'm so excited about this suite. I think you're going to like it. It's been extremely popular during pre-order for demonstrators. So when it goes live to customers on May 5th is when it's scheduled. I wouldn't wait, because it's likely to sell out pretty quickly. Doesn't mean they won't get more back in, but if you love it and want it, I know I ordered it the first day of pre-order. So, but you can see these dies, they kind of remind me a little bit of our circle dies, that each one has a little bit different design around them. So we've got this shape, which goes with this stamp set and then this stamp down here, which goes with this shape. And here's another shape that cuts out some of the sentiments. So great dies. I love this set. It's going to be so much fun to get started playing with it. So we're going to make our card using that today. Now I'm keeping it really easy to try to keep the video as short as I can. But let me just show you the other designer paper that comes in the suite. And there's also a coordinating embossing folder. I'll show you when we get to that. But let me flip through this. Here's another sheet. These do not coordinate with the dies, but they're still really cute, right? And look at this one with the woods. And it's even got like Poohs up in the tree in a couple places. So cute. Here's some more Pooh and Piglet. And then the next two sheets, look, we have card fronts that we can just cut out. And we don't have to do anything really. Put that on, make a card base, put that on it, add a sentiment, and you'd have a really, really cute card, wouldn't you? We're going to use this one today. These are die cut with one of the Sweet Words and Labels dies. And these shapes coordinate with this, I guess it's really the third largest, because this one would be the largest, second largest, and the third largest. But this fits with these, and it will cut out every one of these. So look at all the accent ones you got. And then down here at the bottom, we have some that coordinate, and I didn't even check which one uses this. I guess this is the largest of this shape to cut these out. Isn't it adorable? So cute. And we're going to use this today for the sky, because I'm going to combine it with this one here where he's looking up. But let me show you quickly the other sides. This is the opposite side. This is the one that the dies match. Okay. And then the back sides are a little more generic with small prints. This is kind of cute. This is what the embossing folder looks like. And it's called 100 Acres, I think. 100 Acre Woods is what the embossing folder called. Here's a pretty check. And here's just, you know, a pretty black brown. This is a color, one of the new colors, hydrangea hue, as is the sky. And then we've got a stripe. So this does include some of the new in colors. Hydrangea hue, I think this one is barely blush. The color in these and in these frames here is also an in color golden something. I don't have all the new ones memorized yet. And this pretty green, I'm not a huge green fan, but the new in color green called Peaceful Pine coordinates with this color. So it uses a lot of the in colors. I would say most of them. I'd have to double check to be sure. And we're going to use Peaceful Pine with ours today. And of course, it coordinates with Very Vanilla. So let's go ahead and get started. I have some of this already done. The main thing I want to show you is how to cut these triangles. And there's 2 pieces of cardstock that you need. This one is 2 3/4 by 5.5, and this one is 1.5 by 5.5. And I'm going to grab my trimmer, and I need a ruler. So let me get this on here. I hope you can see this. On this 2 3/4 by 5.5, we want to mark the center point down here. And 1/2 of 2 3/4 is 1 3/8. So if we just mark that with our pencil lightly, 1 3/8. Now I know a lot of people don't like 8s. Where's my pencil? Here it is. But 8s are, it's probably easier if I show you on these. So we've got 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. The 1/8 is the line in the middle. So on my ruler, it's the second line. The one in between that is 1/16. So we're going to mark this at 1 3/8. So I'm going to count. Here's 1/4, and it's 1 more beyond the 1/4. And we're just going to make a little tick mark right there. And that is all the measuring there is to make these triangles. So we then put it in our trimmer, and we line up this corner and our little tick mark in our little groove here on the trimmer. And we cut. Okay. Now that's where I said you're going to have some scraps. You can keep those, do something with the inside if you want. Now I'm going to flip it the other way and go again from where my tick mark was to the other corner. And there you have it, a perfect isosceles triangle. Okay. Now we need the other one, and this one is even easier. No measuring at all. We cut it 1.5 by 5.5. And what you want to pay attention is to make sure you do this in the right direction. So we want to cut at an angle from this corner to this corner, because I want my right triangle here at the edge of my card front, okay? That it's really important if you do have directional paper to make sure you get that correct. Now, do I have that correct? I do not. I want it cut this way, not this way. I want it cut this way because I want my right triangle over here. I always have to stop and think. Sometimes you could just redo it and flip it over, but this one, they'll both be wrong unless you can flip it to the opposite side, and that doesn't always work, right? Because it's going to be a different design. Okay, so now I have a card base that is 11 by 4 1/4, folded at 5 1/2 and scored. And I've already embossed the front of my card. That's totally optional with this template. You can do whatever you want. You can cover it with another piece of designer series paper. There's really no right or wrong. The template is just a guide. So we're going to adhere this on there. Can you see this embossing on here? See how it's got like the woods? These little things kind of look like little rivers or creeks maybe. It's interesting embossing folder. I have to say that. When I saw it in the catalog, really online, because we don't have our catalogs by the time we can place a pre-order. Demonstrators' catalogs come with their first order that they place. So, and there is an up and down. You gotta make sure your trees are right side up. So we're just gonna put that on there. But when I saw this online, I wasn't really sure what that embossing folder looked like. I'll be honest. I almost didn't get it, but it came with the suite. So I'm like, well, I want everything else in the suite. Let's just see what it looks like. And I'm glad I did. It's kind of a very neutral, outdoorsy kind of a embossing folder. So I think it'll be very versatile with flowers. And if you've got masculine cards, maybe fishermen or seaside stuff, I think it'll work good with that. To have something that kind of looks like a woods, but not super, doesn't jump out at you that it's wooded, right? So now we're going to put our, where did I put my other piece? Oh, here it is. Oh. I'm like, why do I have an extra piece here? I don't know. Make sure I have the right one. Should fit exactly. Yep. Okay, so now we're just going to adhere these to the card front. You can use, since we're adhering to an embossing folder, I would recommend maybe liquid adhesive, preferably. It's not like it needs a lot of strength. You're not going to be working it. Once it's down, it's down. So I think your stamp and seal would work just fine. It's not going to go anywhere. And this isn't a super, it is a 3D embossing folder, but it's not super textured. So just line it up at the top and line this corner over here and put that down. And then take your other piece. I'm going to clip a little. I think my trimmer didn't quite catch this little edge here. I've got just a little thing that needs to be gone. So I basically made this card vertical in the portrait position. There's no reason you can't make it in the other. I guess you would kind of want to decide that based on how you want to decorate it. It can go this way just as well. And I did have my Monday card in that direction. I will show you that card when we get this one finished. Let me get this stuff out of the way. I have glue all over my hands. I do not understand how people can use liquid glue and not end up with gluey fingers. always have gluey fingers. Even though I try to be careful, I get glue on my fingers. So, okay. So now I have die cut my image using the Sweet Words and Labels dies. I've die cut this from the designer paper. And this is the Peaceful Pine cardstock. And I die cut that with the next size up. So this one would be the second largest die. And we're just going to adhere these together. This is a very simple card, but I think it's going to be really cute. How can it not be cute with these little characters, right? And don't you just love it when the, oh, let this go on here. I don't multitask well. Talking and stamping can be problematic for me. And I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. Just give it a little bit of lift. And I think I'm going to put it up just, I don't know if I want it right in the center. I think I'm going to put it up just a hair. And this just fits on here, so we have to make sure we stay within the edges. The second largest just fits in that direction. Obviously, on a landscape card, it would fit better, but then it really, you lose the idea of the template. Now, the sentiment I want to use, because they are both looking up, was the one I read, it never hurts to keep looking up. And here is the Peaceful Pine ink pad, and the new ink colors come in these new magnetic cases. So if you haven't seen them yet, it's very easy to open. Now, these are felt pads rather than foam. Our current pads were foam, and the ink colors will be felt. So you're going to have to pay attention when you start stamping with it, because with foam pads, you don't want to push too hard. You kind of just want to lightly tap to ink up your stamp. With these, you can push a little bit harder because the pad is felt and it's harder. So I'm just going to stamp this on here. Now, it just kind of stays that way. You can also put it like this. If you just kind of, it's magnetic, it's not hooked together, but when I flip it over, it just kind of stays there. So that's kind of the way I do it. And you want to store it with your pad, your label up, just like we did before. And then the pad is down, so the ink stays at the top of the pad. And the other nice thing with these is, so I did get them all. Grab them. Should have had these out here. I didn't really plan to do this, but kind of give you an idea of the other colors. This is called Crisp Cantaloupe. I think this was an in color several years ago. Pretty color. But what I wanted to show you, these are really nice to stack because they're magnetic. So they will hold each other. This one is called Golden Glow. Reminds me of an old color we had called More Mustard. Been gone for years. This one is Barely Blush. Very pale pink, pretty pink. Kind of reminds me of something we used to have called Blush Blossom. I think it's a little pinker, but it's very pretty. And then for me, I'm debating which two are my favorite. Hydrangea Hue is awesome. I love it. This is a great green, probably my favorite green that we have. I'm not a huge green fan, but I do like this green. So I'm sure that green is going to get a lot of use. But you can see these just kind of, because they're magnetic, they stick together. Now, this, I used this stamp die to die cut it, and I kind of shoved it this way a little bit, and by magic of TV, I have that cut. Because what I was thinking was I'd stick it down here, but I didn't want it right in the center. Looked kind of boring. It seemed like it needed to be to the side a bit. So I can put this on here and trim that off. So if I just take my snips, it was about that much. It's not going to be, doesn't matter, need to be perfect, but I want to get it square as best I can. And then I can line this up with the outside. And I could either put it down directly and then I put a dimensional under here, or I can pop it up again, which I'm going to do because you know I'm a little bit of a dimensional-aholic. So I'm going to put two close together. And then on this side, down in this lower corner, down here, we're going to need to stack them 2 deep. And I'm going to use minis because I don't have a whole lot of room down here, but I do want it to have some support. So that makes up for the fact that I already had this popped up. And you don't have to do that. That's me. It's a very, very simple card. And I wanted to keep it simple. Maybe up just a little bit more so I can see a little touch of that peaceful pine down there. Yep, that's where I want it. Now, it does feel like it needs something. It would be fine this way, but look at one of these other sneak peeks we got. These are the in colors. So you can see all the in colors. I showed you in the ink pads, all the in colors, but we got little butterflies in those colors. So I haven't even opened this up yet because I was thinking about this before I started the video, and I'm like, it's going to need something else. I just know it is. So we're going to open this up. Now here's how I open my dimensionals. We could open the flap. I like to just cut this off on the side. Just take that little sliver off, and then I can just slide them out. And what color? Ooh, we might need multicolors. I've got Peaceful Pine, I've got Golden Glow, or whatever it's called, and Hydrangea Hue. So I think I'm going to pick a butterfly in each of the colors and just stick them on here. Oh, I don't want another blue one. Oh, that is a green one. I wanted a green one. So maybe we stick him down there. And then what if we take a little tiny golden one and we stick it down here on sentiment. Makes the card. That's what it needed. So super simple card. I did complete the inside. I did not put a sentiment on here because honestly, I think this sentiment, it never hurts to, oh, I can't see on the paper, never hurts to keep looking up. Could be used for many occasions. Somebody that maybe is going through some trials. It's a good message to keep looking up. So it could be get well. It could be just a thinking of you, a sympathy really. And then the inside could pull that out. So I left it blank and we'll figure that out when I send it. So that's my card. Here's my envelope. I use the cute little people. So there's our card. What do you think? Is that a stinking cute, sweet, silly old bear, it is called. And it will be available May 5th. It goes live to customers. Now, so this one and this card, which will be on the blog tomorrow, and this one here, There's a tutorial in there, and the tutorial will also reference this video. They are made, I mean, obviously the decoration part of it's different, but the template is the same. And this is template number 8 that I had. Now, Monday's card that was already on the blog on Monday is done in the horizontal position. And for this one, totally different feel than either of these, right? But you can check that out on the blog on Monday. This one is very contemporary, geometric. It's got stripes from the designer series paper. We've got circles and dots cut with stylish shapes. And then we've got our triangles, which is gold foil. And I decided after I had it all adhered, the designer series paper is sprinkles of splashes or something like that. Can't think of the name of it right now. It's on the blog. There's a tutorial with all that information on there. But I had just put these on the gold pieces, and it was kind of, I don't know, I wasn't happy with it. It kind of was, the gold wasn't popping the way I was. I'm like, I wish I had embossed these. So it was too late because everything was already glued to my card front. So I just took my card, and you can see the whole card front is embossed. So never too late. Just crank a little bit harder because you got a few more layers on there. I didn't have these on. Actually, I did have them on, but I could get those off because they're on with dimensionals. And I embossed that. So I think it looks, I like it now with the embossing. You could just emboss the gold and then adhere them to, but that option was too late for me. So those are 3 cards with the template. I am going to go back to my other camera. And we will wrap this up. I'm not sure, I used to do a template every month. I think I'm getting away from that, but I'm going to toss them in there once in a while. And I'd like to know, do you like to see templates? Do you like to use templates? They are total guidelines. They are not absolute ever. They're just thought starters. So work on them to give you inspiration. That's how I use them. I don't necessarily follow them exactly. I like to make the, like I said, to make what the pieces, cut up all the pieces first with scraps and then mix and match and see how I can change it. This one is not super flexible. It has some flexibility, but not as much as some of mine. So I hope you like it. If you did, I'd love to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel would be awesome. And we will be back next week with something else. It's in my head, but I don't remember it right now. So we will see you then. Have a great one. Have a great weekend, friends. Bye-bye.